Yes, sir.
Okay. So last two classes we studied about control statements. In that we studied if, else if ladder, nested else if, and switch. So today we are going to study the other type of control statements, which is called iteration or looping. So I will start with an example. Just imagine I want to type the message good morning 10 times. What will you do? Agnel Jose. Agnel, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So suppose I want to print good morning 10 times. What will you do?
Sir, looping, repeat the statement.
Okay. So for 10 times you can either go for printf good morning, printf good morning, printf good morning some 10 times. You can type those printf statement 10 times. It will give a correct output. Good morning will be printed 10 times. Suppose you want to print it 100 times. In that case also you can either type it, but it is bit more difficult than the earlier one. Suppose you want to print some good morning some 1000 times. It will be more difficult. Actually in the program, if you notice, the statement printf good morning is repeated many times. The first program it is repeatedly printed for 10 times. In the second instant it is repeatedly printed for 100 times. The third instant it is repeatedly printed for 1000 times. So the same statement is executed repeatedly. So in the first case it is decided by a factor called 10. When suppose we are printing that printf good morning repeatedly, and also you just imagine you have a counter with you. So when the counter reaches 10, you can say we can stop that repeated operation. The second case, when the counter reaches 100, you can stop that operation. The third case, when the counter reaches 1000, you can stop that execution until you can repeatedly print good morning. So such statements are called iteration or looping. So iteration or looping contains three statements: for, while, and do while. Today we are going to study about while, and also we will see some examples. You just listen carefully. A loop allows one to execute a statement or block of statements repeatedly. So the loop or iteration help one to execute a single statement or a group of statements. A group of statements is called block of statements repeatedly. Repeatedly means more than one times. A loop can either be a pre-test loop or be a post-test loop. So here you have to remember two terms: pre-test loop or be a post-test loop. So earlier I told you about a counter. So that means after printing good morning each and every time, it will test whether the counter is reached. So there we are testing a condition. So in the first instance we are testing whether the counter reaches 10. So if the condition is checked before printing that good morning, we can say it is a pre-test loop. If the condition is checked before we are printing good morning, we can say it is a pre-test loop. Suppose we are checking the condition after printing the good morning, then we can say it as a post-test loop. So in the pre-test loop, the condition is checked before the beginning of each iteration. Each iteration means, suppose good morning is printed 10 times, the first instant can be called as an iteration. Second instant can be called as a second iteration. So in the pretest, the condition is checked before the beginning of each iteration. If the text expression value to true, the statement associated with the pretest loop construct are executed and the process is repeated till the test expression becomes false. So if the text expression is true, what happens? The good morning will be printed. That means if the counter is not reached 10, the good morning will be printed. And the process will repeat it till the text expression becomes false. So those things will be clear when you see the examples. So I hope you got some idea. There will be some conditions and this process will repeat until that condition. Until that condition becomes false. On the other hand, if the text expression evaluates to false, the statements associated with the construct are skipped and the statement next to the loop is executed. Here the word construct means the statements within that loop. Within that loop means the statements which are executed repeatedly. So when the text expression is false, the looping statements or the construct will not be executed anymore. And the next statement after the loop will be executed. So for such a construct, the statements associated with construct may not be executed even once. So listen carefully. The meaning of this statement is, here I am saying about pre-test loop. You just imagine before executing some statement or some looping statements, we will check the condition. I already told you I will check the condition. You just imagine in the initial case itself or in the iteration 1 itself, the condition is false. That means the loop may not be executed at least once. So if the condition is false in the first instance itself, the condition will not be executed. So that's the meaning of the statement. So for such a construct, the statements associated with construct may not be executed even once. So this is about pre-test loop. Next is post-test loop. In the post-test loop, the code is always executed once. So minimum once the code will be executed in post-test loop. Post-test loop means first the looping statements will be executed. Here in our example, looping statement is printf good morning. Then the condition will be checked. Then the condition will be checked. After completion of the loop code, so loop code means here in our example, printf good morning. After completion of the loop code, the text expression is tested. After executing those statements, the expression will be tested. If it is true, those statements will be executed again. If the text expression evaluates to true, the loop repeats. If the expression is false, the loop terminates. C has 3 loop constructs: while, for, and do while. The first 2 are pre-test loops and do while is a post-test loop. So while and for are pre-test loop. That means the looping statements will be executed only after the condition is checked. But in do while, the condition is checked after the statements are executed. So here is the flowchart. First one is for pre-test, second one is for post-test. So listen carefully. Some condition will be tested. If it is true, some action has to be performed or some statements will be executed. Again, what happens? The same condition will be tested. If it is true, some actions will be performed. Again, it will be tested and some actions will be performed. And this process of repeated execution continues until the text expression becomes false. So here initially, before executing the statements for the first time itself, if the text expression is false, this statement will not be executed at least once. So that's the meaning of this statement. It may not be executed even once. So there's a chance for that. It may not be executed for at least once. So here what happens? First the statements will be executed. Then the condition will be checked. If it is true, again the statements will be executed. Then again the expression will be tested. So in this case also, the statements will be executed until this text expression becomes false. But the thing is, in the first iteration or in the first time the statements are executed, it is executed, then only it will test the condition. So even if the condition is false for the first time, the statements will be executed for once. Any doubt in this slide? Please respond. Any statements need more clarity, you can respond. If it is clear to everyone, please type clear in the chat box. Any confusions? Okay, thank you. So we already discussed about the text expression. In addition to text expression, two more processes are associated with almost all loops. These are initialization and updating. The text expression always involves a variable which is known as loop control variable. Initialization is something that initializes the loop. That is the statement that assigns the initial value of the loop control variable. The action that changes the text expression from true to false so that the loop will be terminated in the updating statement. This involves updating the value of the control variable. Updating is done in each iteration. So here you have to understand some terms. So first term is initialization, next is updating, next is loop control variable. Initialization, updating and loop control variable. So I'll try to explain those terms with the help of an example. Okay, I will take the same example of printing that good morning 10 times. So I want to print good morning 10 times. So you just imagine I have a variable called counter. That variable is called loop control variable. The counter variable is called loop control variable. So I'm just writing counter. So I'm initializing counter as 0. So and my condition is counter less than 10. So this is my loop control variable and this is the text expression. So loop counter variable is initialized with 0. That means the initial value of counter is 0. So what I hope you understood the step initialization. So I have a counter variable and that counter variable will be initialized with some value and that process is called initialization. Next I will have a text expression. Here text expression is counter less than 10. Then I have a statement. Here my statement is printf good morning. At the time I didn't have much space, so I'm just writing G. So that is my statement. So next is updating. So what I'm going to do here is, so first initially counter will be 0. Once the good morning is printed, I will increment the counter. So I will increment the counter by 1, or I will update the value of counter by adding 1 to its value. So what will I write? I will write counter equal to counter plus 1. So I hope you understood loop control variable. I hope you understood initialization of that variable and updating of that variable. So now counter becomes 1. Again the condition will be checked. So in the initial case, CND less than 10 means 0 less than 10 is tested. 0 less than 10 is tested, it is true. So since it is true, this statement will be executed. The good morning will be printed. Then the updating will happen. Count equal to count plus 1. Now the count value is 0. Here count value becomes 1. Again expression will be tested. So at that time expression is 1 less than 10. That is also true. So this statement execute until CND value becomes 9. So CND value will iterate from or execute for values 0 to 9. 0 to 9 means 10 instances. So 10 times good morning will be printed. Anyway, it will be clear when you see the example. So here this is called body of the loop. There is no semicolon after while text expression, no semicolon in the end also. So while statement is a pre-test loop. Pre-test means condition is tested before executing the statement. Since it is a pre-test loop, it evaluates the text expression before every iteration of the loop. The basic syntax of the while statement is shown in the figure. Statement T will be executed repeatedly till the value of text expression becomes 0. Text expression becomes 0 means already studied when we study relational operator, the relational operator is always return either 1 or 0. 1 means true, 0 means false. So the entire expression CND less than 10, initially it is 0. 0 less than 10 will return a value or produce a value 1. That means true. Statement may be a single statement or multiple statements terminated by semicolon. So here in our example only one statement is there, printf good morning. We can add multiple statements also. To use the while loop, the text expression should contain a loop control variable. Loop control variable is here, it is counter. The initialization of loop control variable has to be done before the loop starts. So initialization happens before the loop starts. Here loop means these things. So before starting the loop, we have to initialize. And updating must be included in the body of the loop. So the statement and updating both are inside the body of the loop. The expanded form of the while statement is given in the figure. So any doubt? Please respond.
Sir, what is initialization?
What is?
Initialization.
Okay. I hope you understood the concept of that counter variable. So since
yes.
Okay. So what is the initial value of counter variable? So in this example, what is the initial value of counter variable?
0.
0. So assigning initial value to counter variable is called initialization. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Initialization is something that initializes the loop. That is the statement that assigns the initial value of loop control variable. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Any more doubts? Please respond. Today your response is a bit weak. Adidev, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
മനസ്സിലായോ?
മനസ്സിലായി, sir.
Okay. So next we are going to see some examples. Listen very carefully. Even if you have some doubts in this theory part, it will be clear when we do the program. So these are the exercise I want to do today. Anyway, let me start to do with that good morning example. Main. Into C. So here for much more easier explanation, I am executing that good morning for only 5 times. Is equal to 5 while C less than 5. Def good morning C equal to C plus 1.
Sir, in line number 3, we have to write C equal to 0. No, sir?
Yeah, C equal to 0. Okay, got the expected output. Good morning is printed 5 times. I'll explain. I have a variable C. Akash Krishna.
Sir?
Okay. Akash, what's the initial value of C?
0.
0. Okay. So that step will be executed during line number 3. Albin Xavier. Albin Xavier. Alex.
Yes, sir.
So next what happens?
Sir, expression test team. Will be.
So what will be the value? Whether it is true or whether it is false?
It's true.
It is true. So the expression will be tested. 0 less than 5. It is true. So good morning will be printed. So good morning is printed. Then what happens? C equal to C plus 1. C becomes 1. Again this condition will be tested. Listen carefully. Again this condition will be tested. C less than 5. Now the value of C is 1. 1 less than 5 is true. So these two statements will be executed. These two statements will be executed. Printf good morning. Good morning will be printed. C equal to C plus 1. C becomes 2. Again the condition will be tested. 2 less than 5 is true. So these two statements will be executed again. Printf good morning. Good morning will be printed. C equal to C plus 1. Current value of C is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. That will be stored to 3. So that process is called updation. C becomes 3. 3 less than 5 is true. Again, these two statements will be executed. Good morning is printed. C equal to C plus 1. C becomes 4. Again, condition will be tested. 4 less than 5 is true. Printf good morning. Good morning will be printed. C equal to C plus 1. C becomes 5. Again, this condition will be checked. 5 less than 5 is false. 5 less than 5 is false. So these two statements will not be executed anymore. So good morning will not print it again. So good morning is printed 5 times. So after that the program will be terminated, or program will stop its execution. Okay. Any doubt? Is it clear? If it is clear, please type clear in the chat box. Okay. Suppose here I am making some modifications to this program only for understanding purpose. Suppose I am changing the value of C, I am initializing the value of C equal to 0 to C equal to 1. I am initializing with 1. Anjana, yes? Anjana, yes?
Yes, sir.
So how many times this good morning will be printed now? Anjana?
Sir, 4 times.
Okay, 4 times. Very good. So always when you see the loop and a control variable, you just try to find what are the possible values for this control variable. What are the possible values for this control variable? C is 1 because 1 less than 5 is true. Then C is incremented, so C becomes 2. 2 less than 5 is true. Again C will be incremented, it becomes 3. 3 less than 5 is true. Again C will be incremented, C becomes 4. 4 less than 5 is true. Again C becomes 5. 5 less than 5 is false. So these are the valid variable values. These are the valid variable values. So good morning will be printed when C equal to 1. Good morning will be printed when C equal to 2. Good morning will be printed when C equal to 3. And good morning will be printed when C equal to 4. Okay. When you see a looping statement, you always try to find what are the possible values for that control variable. Ankur Jaiswal.
Yes, sir.
So here I want to print good morning 5 times. How will I do it? I can't change the statement 3. Without changing the statement 3, I want to print good morning 5 times. What will I do?
Sir, we should C less than 6, sir.
Okay, very good. C less than 6 is one idea. Okay. Then the control. Okay, that one is also correct. Anna Lal.
Yes, sir.
Is there any other way to print this good morning 5 times? Suppose I want value 5 here. So is there any other way to print good morning 5 times? Anna, what are the various relational operators you have studied?
Sir, it is less than or equal to less than.
Okay. So can we use less than or equal to here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then how many times that will be printed?
5 times.
5 times. So first I will show the output. for c less than 6. What Ankur told is absolutely correct. It is printed 5 times. Next I am changing to c less than or equal to 5. At that time also the good morning is printed 5 times. Okay. Anu Fasmin.
Yes, sir.
Suppose I want to print this good morning n times. So if I enter the value for n as 10, it will print for 10 times. If it is 100, it will print for 100 times. Suppose I want to modify this same program. What will I do? I want to print good morning n times. So what are the modifications I have to make in this program?
Times C is equal to N.
C equal to n. C equal to n means anyway the C value will be initially it will be 1, not n. So here it is printing for 5 times. So it is C less than or equal to 5. If I want to print for n times, what will be the condition?
C less than or equal to N.
Okay. C less than or equal to n. So what the value of n? How will you read the value of n? How we will take the user input?
Sir, I didn't get it, sir.
നമ്മൾ എങ്ങനെ യൂസർ ഇൻപുട്ട് എങ്ങനെ റീഡ് ചെയ്യണേ? അതിനുവേണ്ടി എന്താ യൂസ് ചെയ്യണേ? വാട്ട് വിൽ ബി യൂസ് ടു റീഡ് യൂസർ ഇൻപുട്ട് ഫ്രം കീബോർഡ്?
Scanner.
Okay, scanf. Very good. So before that I have to add a scanf statement. Scanf. Here I want to read the value of n. So one integer %d comma ampersand n. So anyway n is not declared, so I am declaring that variable n. I am adding one more statement for more clarity. Printf enter value of n. So now if you enter some 5, it will be printed 5 times. If you enter 10, it will be printed 10 times. Suppose I am giving some 7. So if you count the good morning, it will be 7 times. So give me 1 minute. Hello? വീട്ടില അങ്ങേര് ഇന്നലെ രാത്രി വിളിച്ചു, ഞാൻ എടുത്തില്ല. എന്താ എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലായത് മറ്റേ റിവ്യൂ തിരിച്ചു വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ റിവ്യൂവിൻ്റെ കുറേ കാര്യങ്ങൾ വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഞാൻ വിളിക്കാം, ഞാൻ ക്ലാസ് എടുക്കുക. ശരി. I will execute the program again. So welcome back. I will execute the program again and giving some value 5. So it will be printed 5 times. So here I am giving the value 0. So it will not be printed for at least once, because here the condition tested is C less than or equal to n. Initially C will be 1, here n is 0, C less than or equal to 0 is false. So that's why I told you in pre-test loop there may be a chance for not to execute these statements at least once. Can Can I move to next example? Okay. Display first natural numbers. Actually, it is first n natural numbers. Deepak.
Yes, sir.
So here my problem is display first n natural numbers. So what will be the input?
The input is natural numbers. Oh,
Input
hello.
is
First n.
n. Okay, input is n. So suppose I entered value 10. So what is the expected output?
First 10 natural numbers.
Natural numbers. So what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
1, 2, 3, 4,
up to
10.
10.
That's
Okay.
correct.
So the expected output is 1, 2, 3 up to 10. Okay. So I am changing this program. First n num dot c. Fida Sahuda.
Yes, sir.
What is the modification needed in this program to print first n natural numbers?
First, C equal to N.
That is the modification you need to. C equal to n in which statement? Okay, leave it. Is there any modifications needed in line number 3?
C integer and
Integer n is here.
yes.
Is there any modifications needed?
No, sir.
What about line number 4?
No, sir. Print and enter value of N.
Okay. What about line number 5?
No, sir.
What about line number 6?
Less than or equal. Okay, sir. Random.
Okay. What about line number 8? What will I add here?
Print.
Okay, printf.
Printf.
Then
N natural numbers. Enter the.
that I want to print first n natural numbers. That means my my expect output is 1. After that I have to print 10, 2, then 3, then 4 up to 10. That is what I needed. So what will I do? So first I want to print 1. Actually, where is that value stored in this program? In which variable 1 is stored? Okay, no problem. I will explain it. So here I have two variables, C and N. So what I am doing is, initially C is 1. Then I will print 1. Then I will update the value of C. That means C becomes 2. Then again I will print it. Again I will update the value here. It will be 3. Then it will be printed. And I will continue until it becomes 10. So that 10 we stored in N. So when C reaches 10, I will stop this printing process. So just print the value of C here. Percentage D. Percentage D. I'm giving a slash D for some space, comma, C. So I'm giving 10. So I got the output 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I will explain the program. So it is understood to most of you, but still some more, I think some more clarifications are needed. So I will explain it again. I will say it line by line. Int c equal to 1 comma n. What will happen? So memory will be allocated for c and some memory will be allocated for n. Then printf enter value of n. So this statement will be executed. At that time user will enter a value. Your user is entering value 10. So 10 will be entered by the user. So that value 10 will be stored in n. C equal to 1 is written in the first statement, so C is already 1. Then while C less than n, C is 1, n is 10. 1 less than or equal to 10 is true. So printf %d slash t comma c. So in place of this %d, c will be printed. The value of c is 1. The value of c is 1. So that 1 will be printed. Then there is a slash t. So a tab space is also printed. Then c equal to c plus 1. C becomes 2. Again the condition will be checked. 2 is less than or equal to n. N is 10. 2 less than or equal to n is true. So this value is already updated to 2. 2 less than or equal to 10 is true. Again printf %d c. So 2 will be printed. Some tab space will be given. C becomes 3. So at some point C reaches 10. Again at some point C reaches 10. Again that condition will be tested. 10 less than or equal to 10 is true. 10 less than or equal to 10 is true. Printf %d slash t comma c. At that time this 10 will be printed. Then c equal to c plus 1. C becomes 11. 11 less than or equal to 10 is false. So that condition is false. These two statements will not be executed. So we got our expected output as 1 up to 10. Is it clear? Any more clarifications needed? Please respond. Is it clear? Can I move to next example? Okay, thanks. Next example is generate arithmetic progression. Generate arithmetic progression. Okay. I'm saving it by ap.c. Gautam S. Krishna.
Yes, sir.
So for an arithmetic progression, what are the things we required? Suppose I want to generate an arithmetic progression. What are the parameters?
ഒരു equation പോലെ
So I'm not
ഒരു n-ന് വാല്യൂ
saying about the equation. What are the parameters?
ഡിഫറൻസ് ഉണ്ടാവും.
Okay. Common difference is there, D. Then
ഒരു ഫസ്റ്റ് ഒരു വാല്യൂ ഉണ്ട്.
first value will be there, that is A. Very good. Then one more parameter is there.
പിന്നെ n വാല്യൂസ് എത്ര വേണമെന്ന്. ഫൈനൽ വാല്യൂ.
Not final value. N means number of terms. Very good. N means number of terms. So if you remember, your AP will be like this: A1, comma A2, comma A3, up to A. A1 will be same as A. A2 will be same as A plus D. A3 will be same as A2 plus D. A2 plus D is same as A plus D plus D, that is A plus 2D. So similarly, AN will be like A plus ND. In some cases, you study like A0, A1, A2 up to AN minus 1. That one is also correct. Gogul Krishna.
Yes, sir.
How many inputs will be there in this program?
3 inputs.
3 inputs. What are they?
First value, common difference,
Okay. First value, common difference, and number of terms. Int.
number of times.
So I need 3 variables to store these values. So I'm declaring A, comma N, comma D. So these are the 3 inputs I needed. Mary Alina.
Yes, sir.
What will be the next statement I have to add in this program?
Printf.
Printf. Printf. Can I mute the mic? Disturbances are coming. No problem. Mayangraj. Mayangraj, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
inside printf statement, what will I write?
Enter the value of A, comma D, comma N.
Enter value of A, comma D, comma N. Munna Mishan PK. Munna Mishan. Namananand. Namananand, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What is the next statement?
Scanning.
Okay. Scanf.
Percentage D.
How many percentages are needed?
3.
How many?
3.
3, 3. Okay, very good. Percentage D, percentage D, percentage D. Then what I have to add? Comma.
A, D, N. Ampersand A,
comma,
ampersand D,
ampersand,
ampersand D, ampersand N.
ampersand N. Okay.
So semicolon.
Semicolon. Already added semicolon. Okay, no problem. You can mute the mic. Okay. So here I need one more variable called counter variable. So here it is A1, A2, A3 up to AN. So here if you look at the suffixes, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 up to N. So what I am trying to do is I am going to print A value repeatedly. Here the A value is printed repeatedly. A1, A2, A3 up to AN. A value is printed repeatedly. So here you just imagine I have used one more variable called C. So when C equal to 1, A will have a value. When C equal to 2, A will have a different value. When C equal to 3, A will have a different value. And when C equal to N, A will have a different value. So how we calculate the difference value? Here different value. Initially anyway a1 is, when c equal to 1, a value is a itself, first time itself. Next time along with that a, that d will be added. Along with that a, the d will be added. That will be considered as a2. So now a2 means a plus d. a2 means a plus d. So in a we will store a plus d. In a3 means one more time that d value will be added along with a, because a already have a plus d. So one more time that d value will be added. At that time it will becomes a plus 2d. In that way only I am going to proceed. And it will stop when it reaches n. So I am using c equal to 1, a counter value. So don't think in every program there will be a value something equal to 1. It may also change based on the program. So while c less than or equal to n, printf percentage d, I'm giving only a space now, comma a. So a value will be printed. So once the value a value is printed, then I have to add d with a. So I'm writing a equal to a plus d. A equal to a plus d. Then I have to increment the counter value. So earlier I have written like c equal to c plus 1. We already studied on increment operator called plus plus. So here I am writing c plus plus. So c plus plus is nothing but c equal to c plus 1. With that we already discussed, and also we discussed about the plus plus c and c plus plus. Okay. So let me check the output. So I'm giving initial value as 2, common difference as 3, and number of terms as 5. So it is printed 2 plus 3 is added 5, then 8, again 3 is added 11, again 14. So this is my required arithmetic progression. So let me try another example. First term is 10, common difference is 5. I want to print some 10 terms. So it is printed 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 and 5. Let me try one more example. First term is 3. Common difference is 2. Number of terms is 5. So I got 3, 5, 7, 9 and 11. So any doubt in this program? Any doubt in this program? Please respond. Is it clear?
Sir, can you explain again?
Okay. So someone wants the explanation. I'll explain line by line. Line number 3, I have some variables a, n, d and c. C is initialized with 1. And here then print end. So these things, some space will be allocated in line number 3, and C is initialized with 1. Next printf enter the value of a comma d comma n will be executed. So this statement will be executed. At that time user will enter 3, 2 and 5. 3, 2 and 5. This will be typed. So a will get the value 3, n will get the value 5, and d will get the value 2. D will get the value 2. D will. So for easy understanding, I will draw a table C and A, because D and N is not changing. Initially C equal to 1. 1 less than or equal to n. Here n is 5. 1 less than 5 is true. So what will happen? Printf percentage %d some space comma a. So here initially a value is 3. So that 3 will be printed and some space will be added. Then a equal to a plus d. A becomes d is 2, a is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5. So a becomes 5. C plus plus. C plus plus means C becomes, C will be incremented by 1. C becomes 2. Again condition will be tested. 2 less than 5. C is 2, n is 5. 2 less than 5 is true. So printf A. A will be printed. So this 5 will be printed. Again A equal to a plus d. D is 2. A is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. So A becomes 7. C plus plus. C becomes 3. Again this condition will be checked. 3 less than or equal to n. N means 5. That is true. So printf A. That what is the value of A now? That is 7. 7 will be printed. Again A equal to a plus d. A becomes 9. C becomes 4. 4 less than or equal to 5 is true. So printf A. Value of A is 9. So this 9 will be printed. A equal to a plus d. 9 becomes 11. C plus plus. C becomes 5. 5 less than or equal to 5 will be tested. 5 less than or equal to 5 is true because equal to condition is also there. So printf percentage d comma a. This 11 will be printed. A equal to a plus d. A becomes 13. C plus plus. C becomes 6. C less than or equal to 5. 6 less than or equal to 5 is false. So these statements will not be executed. Already A becomes 13, but it will not be printed. It will not be printed. So in the output we can see only 3, 5, 7, 9 and 11. Who asked that out? Someone asked me to.
Sir, me.
Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Any more doubts?
No, sir.
I hope it is clear to everyone. Can I move to next example?
Sir, class is there, sir. 9:30.
9:30, I think it is computer programming itself, na? Regularly.
Yes, sir.
Is there any other class other than computer programming?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. You just listen carefully. Next program is evaluate x raised to n, where n is a positive number. So I calculate x power n dot c. So here I want to calculate x raised to n. So here I have two inputs, x and n. X raised to n means x into up to some n times. So here is the idea is I will add one more variable called p for storing the power value. Initially it will be stored with x, and I am repeatedly multiplying x to p. So that means I will write something like p equal to p into x. Essentially p will contain this x. Then I will do p into x. So x into x will be in p. So now p contain x into x. Again I will do p equal to p into x. So along with this p, this x will be multiplied and it will be stored in p itself. So in the end p will contain x into x into x into x. That's the logic behind this program. So I'll type the program main int p comma x comma n. I already told you here I have two inputs, printf enter values of x comma n. Then I will add a scanf statement, scanf %d, comma ampersand x, comma ampersand n. So p equal to x will be written. So there's a small correction. So I told you I will initialize p with x. So actually I will initialize p with 1. Then I will do p equal to p into x. So actually p equal to 1 into x. So p will contain x value. So before initially adding p equal to x, first I will make p equal to 1. Then along with that I will multiply x with it. So why I have done that step, it will be clear when I write the program. So I'm writing p equal to 1, writing a while statement, while one more variable again I am using, it is some c equal to 1, c less than or equal to n, p equal to p star x for multiplication. I am doing C++. Outside I am printing printf power equal to %d, comma p. I'll explain the program. So for that I will execute it. Sorry, I have done the save the program as CPP, that's why I'm getting an error. Doing it as C. So I am giving x as 2, n as 3. It means I am going to calculate 2 raised to 3. I got it as 8. Suppose I am doing something like 5 and I am giving 0. What will be the result? Rahul Bharadwaj. Rahul Bharadwaj,
Hello, sir.
what is 5 raised to 0?
1, sir.
1. They got power values on here. Okay. And I will explain the example. Ranveer's
Yes, sir.
So what will happen during the execution of line
Yes, sir.
number 3? What will happen in line number 3?
We take the time.
Some space will be allocated for P. Some space will be
Sir,
allocated for X,
we have a space for P, X, and N.
N, and some space for C, and it will be initialized with 1.
C.
Initialization
Yes.
with 1. Next, printf enter the value of x comma n. You just imagine I have entered values 5 and 3. 5 and 3. And the value is initialized with 1. P equal to 1 means in P it will be stored as 1. Rishi Sagar.
Yes, sir.
So when x equal to 5 and n equal to 3, what is the expected output? When x equal to 5 and n equal to 3, what is the expected output? What is 5 raised to 3?
5 raised to 3.
What is it?
125.
Okay, 125. So 125 is the final output. Let us check whether we will reach that output 125. Okay. C is there. C is there. Initial value of C is 1. Initial value of P is 1. C is 1. P is 1. Rohit PB.
Yes, sir.
What about the condition now? Is it true or false?
True.
True. So how many statements will be executed? That condition is true. So what are the statements which is going to execute? This condition is true. So how many statements will be executed? What are the statements inside that while loop? Rohit, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So if the condition is true, what are the statements which is going to be executed? That's my question. Okay, no problem. Saksham Sedu.
Yes, sir.
So what are the statements which is going to be executed if the condition is true? Anyway,
Sir, statement 9, sir. Line number 9.
statement
P equal to
P
P
equal to
into
P
X.
star x. So now P equal to 1 and x equal to 5. So P star x is 5 because 1 star x is 5 and that will be stored into P. So the P value will be updated to 5. Then C plus plus. C is 1. So C will be incremented. So C becomes 2. C becomes 2. Salas Paul Augustine. So next what will happen? So C is incremented, then what will happen? Can you hear me? Salas, can you hear me? Okay, no problem. Shashikant Singh,
Yes, sir.
next what will happen?
Next, the line number 10 will be checked
Check.
whether it is true or
Okay,
false.
if it is true or false, what is the value of C?
C is uh, as it is incremented, sir. So the value of C is 2.
C is 2. So 2 less than n. 2 less
Yeah.
than or equal to n means 2 less than or equal to 3. That is
Yes.
true.
True, sir.
So these two statements will be executed. So what will be the new value of P? P is 5.
It will be
5
yes, sir.
star x. So what will be the new value of P?
25, sir.
25. Okay.
Yeah.
Shidin Raj. Shidin Raj, can you hear me?
Yes.
So what will be the value of C now? C after C plus plus. What's the current value of C?
2.
2. So after C plus plus, what will happen? C becomes Shidin Raj, what is plus plus? Shidin Raj, can you hear me?
Yes.
So what's the meaning of C plus plus? Okay, leave it. Sham Santosh,
Yes, sir.
what is C plus plus? C becomes
C plus 1.
C plus 1. So what is C?
C 2. The 3.
Okay, C is 3. Good. Srishant J. Srishant J. Okay, no problem. Tanush J. Tanush.
Yes, sir.
So next what will be the statement executed? After C plus plus, what will happen?
Check key while
Okay.
loop.
What about the condition whether this is true or false?
C is 3 and 3 less than or equal to 3.
Okay, so condition is
The true one.
so what will happen?
True. അടുത്ത
Statements. So
8,
next
9 step A.
next statements will be executed. 9 and 10 will be executed. Okay, Varada,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
what's the value of P now?
Here value 125.
Because P equal to P star x. P is
P
25,
star x
25, 25 star.
25 into 5
25 into 5 is 125.
125. Yes, sir.
Then what will be the value of C?
C 4.
4. Okay. Varsha Shibu,
Yes, sir.
next what will happen?
While check
Yeah, well, what about, so while loop will be checked. What about the condition for
false 4 less than or equal to 3 false.
4 less than or equal to 3 is false. So it will not execute line number 9 and 10. It will directly execute line number 12. So printf power equal to percentage d comma p. The value of p will be printed. Now the value of p is 125. I got but my expected output is also 125. Okay. So that's all I want to share today. Any doubt in the topics or examples what we have discussed?
Excuse me, sir.
Okay. Ask.
Sir, in place of C++, if we write plus plus C, then what happens?
Same output will come. No problem. They will change
Okay,
to
sir.
plus plus C. Because there's difference in plus plus C and C plus plus only when it becomes a part of an expression. Otherwise, both are same. If it is part of an expression, there will be a difference. So here,
Okay, sir.
here I will 5 and 3, 125. Okay. Any more doubts?
സാർ
Okay. Hmm.
ഇപ്പോ സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് 10 ഇല്ലേ, അത് സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് 12 ശേഷം ഏതുവാണെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് ഇതേ ആൻസർ കിട്ടുമോ?
If I write statement 10 after statement 12,
യെസ് സാർ.
you are asking whether, no, you will never get it because you just look at this table. C value is incremented. In each and every step, C value is incremented.
ഓക്കെ സാർ.
So, what will happen is, so plus plus C is outside. That means there is no updating statement. This will continuously execute. Indefinitely it will execute. Then the program
Okay,
will
sir.
crash. Okay. Any other doubt? Any other doubt? Okay.
No.
In the last class, someone asked a doubt when we studied switch and case. Can we add fractional numbers in case? That means, can I write something like case 1.5? Can I write something like case 1.75? So the answer is you can't write the fractional numbers in case. So it is not allowed in C programming. So it can be either a character or an integer. So is that clear? Last class we
Yes, sir.
studied about switch and case. When someone asked, I don't remember his name, someone asked, can we write fractional numbers in case along with the case? So the answer is we can't do that. So it is not allowed in C program. So one more program is pending that we will do later in the next class, and also in the previous class also one more program is pending. That is a very important one, solution of quadratic equation. Anyway, those things we will do later. So that's all I want.
Yes, sir.
Any other doubts?
Sir, can
Sir,
you open
What?
in line number 9, sir,
Okay.
p is equals to p star x. So instead of star, sir, plus or division would be written, sir.
So here what I am doing, x into x into x into x into x into up to n times. So there I am doing multiplication. That's why I added star. No need to think about division or addition. If I want to do x plus x plus x plus x, you can add plus. If you have to do x by x by x by x by x, you can add slash. Okay, is it clear?
yes, sir.
Any other doubts?
sir?
Okay.
Sir, in previous class
Ah,
you discussed about switch statement odd even, sir. Can you open this program, sir?
which program?
Switch odd even, sir.
I can't clarify. Which program in switch?
Odd even, sir. Finding
Odd
the
even,
number
odd
is
even.
odd
Okay.
even.
I'll
Yes.
open switch odd even. Okay.
Sir, in if you execute this program and enter an here, given that we have to enter integer value, then if
Hmm.
character value that is a, b, c, and any character, sir, then it's also give an output that's even or odd.
It will not
First
print
you
anything.
execute this
No problem.
program.
You are asking, I
Sir,
want to enter A.
enter any. Yes, sir. That's so even, sir. It's need to show
Um,
invalid.
why it is even?
Yes, sir. I must see
Because
that.
I think ASCII value of A is small a is.
No, sir.
Wait.
No, sir. You
Why I got even, because the ASCII value of A is, I think, some even number. That's why it is got as even.
no, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay.
You if you put any character type that is a dollar sign or anything, you this given
It will give
again
the
execute
output. Okay.
and
So first thing you have to understand is why I wrote this program. It is only to
sir. But
wait. I will wait. Why I write this program? Because even if the breaks are avoided, the case will fall down. It will execute continuously. For understanding that only, I have written this program. Okay. Now the question is, so if a character.
sir, if you have
Okay.
here we can use an if and else statement, sir,
If
in
and
that.
else statement can't
And
be used. So how will you write the if statement?
that is we can put a limit that is a a finite number, sir.
There is no limit. You can enter any number.
Yes, yes, sir. But there is no limit,
Here
sir.
in our
Yeah.
example, when I typed A, I got even because internally A is stored as an integer. In the memory, it is stored as integer.
Yes, sir.
But ASCII value is 97. No?
ASCII value of small a is not 97, I think.
Yes, sir. It is.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay, okay, wait, I'll check. ASCII value of small a. Small a is 97. Yeah. Then it is getting as even. Let me print the value of m. Then we will check printf. Percentage d comma m. Okay, those who 1 minute I will take the attendance, and those who want to leave can leave now. Put a semicolon here. Typing a.
സാറേ പൊക്കോട്ടെ അർജന്റ്
പൊക്കോ പൊക്കോ, ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞില്ല അറ്റൻഡൻസ് എടുത്ത് പോകേണ്ടവർക്ക് പോവാം, കുഴപ്പമില്ല.
ആ
Okay, here what happens is, here what is written in scanf? Scanf, it is written as percentage d, because that means the scanf statement is expecting for a integer value, but what I have entered here is a character value, so that is stored as 0 only. If I read something like percentage d c comma ampersand m, then it will print as output as odd. Is it clear? Because in scanf I am trying to read an integer, but the user is entering a character. So due to mismatch only, it is read it as only 0. 0 is in here in this example, 0 is considered as even. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Any other doubt?
Sir, one more doubt. Sir, I made a mistake.